Welcome to Youth Sports Mastery on the Daily Parks and Rec Show, hosted by Aaron Locks and sponsored by National Academy of Athletics. Join us live every Thursday at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time as Aaron sits down with coaches, recreation professionals, and industry leaders to discuss youth sports, athlete development, coaching excellence, and the positive impact sports have on young people and communities. Tune in for expert insights, inspiring stories, and practical strategies to help young athletes succeed. In this episode, Aaron Locks and Dawn Williamson discuss how youth sports build leadership, accountability, confidence, and community.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Youth Sports Mastery Show. I'm Aaron Locks, your host, and I'm fired up today to have Dawn Williamson. He is all the way from Illinois. We were just chatting before we're diving in, talk a little bit about Chicago and the area in Illinois where she works. I am excited today because this is the first kind of different direction, really diving into the school component. And those that know me about It's Just Rec and what I'm trying to do, Dawn's going to be on the grill a little bit today. We're going to have some fun. Give us some good insights. But let's do this. Let's pay the bills first. Let's take care of Jovi. Go ahead and run those spots. When we get back, we'll do a full introduction. See you guys in 2 minutes.
It didn't start with a studio, or a big budget, or a perfect plan. It started with belief. Belief that stories matter. Belief that voices deserve to be heard. Belief that community is powerful. What began as a single conversation has grown into something far bigger than us. Today we pause, we reflect, and we say thank you. To our guests, thank you for showing up, for being honest, for trusting us with your stories and letting the world hear them. To our partners and sponsors, thank you for standing with us when the vision was still taking shape. Your belief gave this network its foundation. And to our audience, the ones who listened, who watched, who shared, who believed. You didn't just support DPRS Media Network, you built it. This past year changed everything. We grew our shows, we raised our standards, we reached new communities, and we told stories that needed to be told. From parks and recreation to sports, youth, technology, and culture. We learned something important. Growth isn't about numbers, it's about impact. As we grow, our mission becomes clear. Our mission is to create media that matters. Media that educates, media that inspires, media that connects people through honest, human storytelling. To spotlight the people, the programs, and the ideas shaping parks, recreation, sports, and the future of our shared spaces. And our vision is bold. We envision a media network that doesn't just document the world, but helps shape it, where local voices spark global change, where communities see themselves reflected, and where media is a force for good. The future ahead is bigger than any single episode. More voices, more stories, more collaboration, live events, original films, deeper conversations, and a growing community united by purpose. From episode 1 to episode 400, thank you for believing when it was hard. Thank you for staying when it was uncertain. And thank you for walking this journey with us. This is DPRS Media Network, built by community, driven by purpose, powered by stories. And we're just getting started.
In today's parks and recreation industry, communication, safety, and efficiency go hand in hand. That's where Outdoor Link comes in, delivering smart technology that empowers city departments and community planners to do more, smarter. Outdoor Link's platform connects and automates everything that keeps your parks running smoothly, from lighting and locks to signage, water features, Wi-Fi, and digital advertising. Control and schedule park lights for safety and energy savings. Remotely manage facility access. Update digital displays in real time. Coordinate fountains and splash pads. Provide public connectivity. and even run community or sponsorship campaigns on digital screens, all from one simple, unified platform, giving you real-time control, data, and cost efficiency. For parks and recreation agencies, that means safer spaces, smarter resource use, faster responses, and stronger community engagement. And behind every great park story is great infrastructure. That's why Outdoor Link proudly supports DPRS Media Company, helping the Daily Parks and Rec Show amplify the voices of professionals shaping our communities every day. Outdoor Link, smart, connected solutions for parks, recreation, and beyond.
All right, welcome back to the Youth Sports Mastery. Dawn, it's interesting to me as I just watch as we've grown. There's 400 shows. There's a lot of media going on and a lot of excitement.
That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. So Dawn, would you do me a favor? I was trying to think of the best way to introduce you, and I read your resume and gone through it. And I said, man, she's done a lot. So how would you best tell our audience about you? What you do, because your journey is really cool and inspiring. I want to dig into that, but I figure first you should go ahead and let them know who you are.
So I am an athletic director for a school district. We're the third largest school district in Illinois. And I would say ultimately if someone were to describe me, I would say it's someone who's passionate about athletics, about the positive benefits from athletics, and wanting as many kids as possible to experience those benefits.
Perfect. I love that. Yeah. We've got the It's Just Rec campaign, and I'm trying to bring more kids back to sports at the younger levels in a recreational play space.
Right.
In fact, we run a league that is literally the uniforms don't have numbers. It's just literally old school play. So it's great. So let me just ask this. So you're I hate using the word ex-athlete because we're all kind of athletes, right? So tell us
at this time it's definitely ex, yeah.
My mind says I can still do it. My body says you don't. Yeah, no, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about what your sports experience, because I want to be able to go back before we go forward. So tell me a little bit more about kind of your athletic experience playing.
Yeah. So I'm I started playing sports very young, did all the stuff, but settled in on volleyball, cross country, and track. So those were my sports that I did like in middle school and high school. Once I got to college, I was able to play at University of Wisconsin, volleyball. Wonderful. And then I coached at multiple places. I've coached at all levels. So I've done youth sports, middle school, high school, college, all the stuff. And yeah, so I've just always been in athletics. Like this is the thing for me.
Yeah, love it. So I think that's why we're so connected, because being a sport and the values and what you learn. Like I like to ask people, give me 2 top things that you learned through athletics as a child that still today you use. And the problem is when I say 2, you probably say, can I give you 10?
Right, exactly. Right?
Exactly. Pick 2 for me. What was
well, I've got one that's at the top of mind because I'm just now dealing with, so, in schools, we have academic eligibility. So if they're going to play, they've got to pass classes and all that stuff, right? So I'm dealing with a mom now who is unhappy that her child's not going to be able to play because they failed 2 classes last week. So I would say accountability is one of the things that I learned through sports. And my personal accountability to be there for the team, right? So I've got to control myself so that I'm available for the team. And that is something that is still today, thing. And obviously discipline, right? Like it's one of those things you learn in sports is even if you don't feel like going to practice, you go to practice. And that's still the same thing. I come in every Monday and say, well, I guess none of us hit the lottery. So I guess here we are.
So, okay. I'm going to add to that. Mine would probably be resiliency, right? Because sports is more about failure
Right,
then move past
100%.
that, right, and be able to get back up. The other one I think, which is kind of interesting, is I think I'm going to change my order, but I'm going to go into to people skills.
Oh, 100%.
Teamwork, team, team. I love when I bring on, we continue to bring more people onto our team here. We have athletics, and yes, we're in athletics, but if they've got an athletic background, and they've competed and lost, and they've gone through it, they're usually at some level of being a good teammate, right?
Yep.
And that's so important.
Yep, very much so. Well, especially today, I've got a 13-year-old daughter. And I always tell her she's got a people today. Like, I use it as a verb. Like, you actually have to go and look in people's eyes and talk to them. Like, and that's what sports, teach you how to do.
Right. And I love, going back to accountability again. I got to be in a room with lunch with Tom Selleck, who said the one thing I know he said that's really missing in the youth in America, and maybe the adults, is individual accountability. We've taken that away, right? We like to blame everybody else instead from there. So you're a director of athletics, right?
Yep.
And this is for an entire school district?
Yes.
Okay. So when a mom says, hey, my kid failed these 2 classes, it's obviously the teacher's fault. It's not my fault.
Yeah.
Getting that it's a student athlete. I remember when I was a kid, and I'm old, but I remember that probably, if not all, almost every coach I had was a teacher.
Yeah.
On campus. So now, like, if I did something wrong, right, in class, trust me, I paid for it on the field, right?
Exactly.
And that relationship. What's that like for you guys in terms of the development in that? Do you have still a lot of teachers that are coaching, or is that shift? What's going on with that?
So every school is different. So we've got 4 high schools in our school district. So kind of the way our setup is, I'm in the district office. Each of the 4 high schools has their own athletic directors that run the show every day. They're putting out the chairs and, making sure the kids have their physicals and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yes, so I think our high schools are best at getting teachers in, just for what you said. Now there's an accountability for the whole day, whether it's you walking in the hallway, and now maybe you'll tighten it up a little bit while you're walking in the hallway because you see your coach there. But yeah, having that continuity is really important for school-based sports.
Yeah,
because that academic part is so important.
Yeah, I got a special friend of mine. She's been going through it. She's got a son who's playing football. They got a new coach.
Okay.
The new coach came in, and he's got a military background.
He's tough.
He's tough. I mean, it's just so awesome because the first thing he said, look, here's what's going to happen. If your child, they have to have a C average of 2.0, whatever it is to play. If he's got a 2.0, he ain't playing. He's got to have 2.5.
Yeah.
And the coach can make that.
Yep, higher standards. Yep.
But guess what? And I love it because we're not just going to do the minimum or the we're going to be above that. And to me, maybe there's some it's challenging. Don't get me wrong. I wasn't the best student either, but learning to do the work. And what I love is he says, here's the deal. If that's the case, your son will be in study hall with us. We're going to get him where he needs to be.
Yeah, we'll help him get there. Yeah.
That would be a thing, right? That would be, I'm like, celebrate that for sure, right?
Yes, definitely.
So with your school districts, are you seeing shifts with the culture? This is an interesting thing to me because I remember when like AAU kind of became a thing a little bit more. I didn't AAU until my junior, senior in high school. Now I got AAU when they're 6 years old, which is insane, right? How is that impacting what you do through the school district? Are you seeing an impact with that?
So our district's different, right? So I always say we're a free lunch district, right? So that means enough of our kids are below the poverty level that we don't charge people for lunch, right? So that just says everything it needs to say about us. So that means that not as many of our kids. So I would say we've got haves and have-nots. So we have folks who will walk into a high school and they've never played the sport before and they think, you know what, I want to play basketball. Well, they're also in there with someone like you were saying who's been playing travel ball since they were in U10. So I would say we've got some haves and have-nots in our district. I would say we've got folks who've never even heard of travel ball before, but also folks who've been playing, for 10 years by the time they get to high school. That makes it difficult, I would say, to have success, right? I would say most folks would say it takes more than a school season, which is typically about 3 months, to get good at anything. Like I wouldn't be good at my job. You wouldn't be good at your job if you only did it for 3 months a year. And that's what we run into quite a bit.
So finding that balance and helping the kids fall in love with it, because if you're going to be a student athlete, there's a lot of work that goes into that.
There's a lot of work. Right?
Are you connected to the lower levels, the junior high and elementary school?
Yep, so, we offer sports all 3 levels.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's good stuff right there. I deal with a lot of school districts that they've taken away not just after school sports, but they've taken away PE.
Oh, that's not great.
No, imagine if an elementary school teacher, you don't get your kids out to PE to get them,
gotta get the squirrelies out.
Yeah, you gotta do that. So when you see the shift, to me, what I'm seeing is that the parents' mindset is different now. Like when my kid I had two kids, a boy and a girl. They both played all kinds of sports in high school. They went there. They were there for school first, sports second. Right? But I do know that sports is what made them want to go to school.
Yep.
Right? Right?
Yep.
So, but there was a mindset. I watched a lot of these parents, and me doing what I do and have done for so long. I kind of back in and go, no, I'm doing that. But it's interesting to me if you think about it, because some parents are so caught up and they're blaming the coach that their child's not getting enough play time to be seen to get the Division I scholarship. And to me, I go, wait a second. If your kid was that good, the coach would be the one that, right? Is that?
Yes. Because I coached for a long time, and I would always say that, like, I've got someone sitting on the bench who could help us win more games, but I'm just choosing not to play them. That makes sense. Yeah.
So let me ask this. So we do a lot in the Parks and Rec space, a lot in the school space. How do you recommend a parent, let's say you're the coach or the administration, and my child is having a negative experience? What's the best way for us to communicate? Because I think there's a great opportunity to the coach specifically and to the administration athletic director. How do you recommend those communications go?
In a school setting, we're talking, right?
Yeah.
So I'd say it depends on level, right? So if it's an elementary kid, then I would expect the parent to step in. I think once we get to middle school, we're really trying to shift it to where, like, if the child can advocate for themselves, at least to start, like, it may get to the parents, but we really want to shift it to child. Go to the coach. Don't say I'm the best and why am I not playing? You say, what can I do to get more playing time, right? Every coach loves that question. They'll give you the answer and you'll do the thing. And certainly in high school, it should start with the child going to the coach and asking how they can get better. And I think athletics is very chain of command. So it should be kid and coach, and then maybe you bring in the parent, then maybe if you've got to bring in the AD, that kind of a thing. But always from the aspect of what can the kid do, not what's been done to my child.
I taught my kids seek to understand before being understood. I told them, I said, look, and I did it at a young age. I said, if something's not working right, I want you to have the conversation. Reminds me of a story. My son was a football player, and I think he was 10. And first 2 games of the season, he was a tight end. He caught 2 passes, scored a touchdown. He thought he was like,
oh, great.
Well, the next game, it's raining. We go out there, and they didn't throw him a pass, won the entire game.
Oh.
He was upset. We won the game, but he was upset. So he was visibly upset. Coach doesn't trust me, and what's going on, and this and that. I said, all right, well, let's calm down for a second. Went to the snack bar. Get the snack bar first. That's a good start. Then we came back, and I said, okay, well, you're going to have to ask coach. And And he said, well, will you go with me? I said, yeah, you're going to take the lead. So I went to coach and said, hey, coach, Mason would like to have a chat. And we did this away from everybody. By the way, we don't want to do this in front of everybody.
Right.
And we went over, and I love what Coach did. Coach was 6'8". He had played football, 325-pound man. Sat down on a knee to my son,
good.
Right?
Right.
He said, what's the matter? And Mason started tearing up. And he said, Coach, you didn't throw me the ball. You don't trust me. And Coach looked at him and said, Mace, we didn't throw the ball to anybody. And Mason looked. He didn't throw a pass. He said, listen, we didn't trust
conditions. Yeah.
It was raining at a quarterback's hands, and we didn't trust that he could get it to you. Just kind of okay like that, right?
Right.
Really good, like you said. What a great exchange for my son. And Coach, man, we trust you. All right, like that.
Right.
My son's being a little confident. Hey, if you'd have thrown it to me, I would have caught it, because my dad throws me the ball and I catch him in the pool all the time, and I would have caught it. You know what I mean?
Like, just so you know, right?
But here's the other thing that's being able to have that conversation. My son's confidence grew, individual accountability, and I loved it. And it's funny because Coach knew me after. So Mason went over to snack. Coach grabbed me by the neck and pulled me over, because that's what he loved to do. He said, man, you know what? I love that your son came up and had that conversation. And he said, what could I have done better? You know, he knows what I do for a living. I said, I'll give you one, because you asked. I'll give you one. If you know you're doing something different as a coach,
just tell everybody.
If you let them know in advance. And he went, oh, man. And you know what? But again, this is where I love, because I feel like youth sports has become such that all we see is the negative, right?
Yes.
Right? We see the situation where we had in California, where a guy's refereeing an AAU game, a parent runs out of the stand, the guy pulls a pocket
oh my gosh,
X-Acto knife out of his pocket and cuts the guy to defend himself. Like, what is going on here? This is insane, right?
That is literally insane. Yes. Wow.
So how do we calm it down? So where I'm going with this, so how do you guys control? How do you calm that down across the board? Do you have something you do?
Yeah, we have things we try. I'll say that. So I think, and oddly enough, like I said, we offer sports, elementary, middle, and high. Elementary is our most difficult age to manage the parents. And I always say it's because it's like our gateway into school-based sports. And they don't know how to act, like to be honest. So, you know, our district sends out, like our office creates like newsletters that go out monthly where we talk about respecting officials and how to be a good sports parent and all that. Now, do people read them? I certainly hope so, but I mean, you know what I mean? So we have stuff like that. We've got, we created a module that our coaches have to watch, you know, how to coach your team, how to manage your parents, you know, all that kind of stuff. But it's difficult. I will say that it's difficult, and it is consistently our elementary aged parents that we really, really struggle with, because I think what we ask our parents to do in sport, like in school-based sports, is a little bit different. I think if you're in AAU, I think they maybe accept a little bit more than what we'll accept at school. So we're trying to let them know, like,
this is different.
We understand that our kids might not be as good skill-wise as what you're used to, but that doesn't mean we get to act any kind of way we want to, you know. It's difficult. I will say that.
It is a challenge. You know, we at the National Cap Athletics, the leagues we run, we do a parent orientation, mandatory. And orientation, we talk about it. And you know, one of the things I first ask is, how many of you are excited for your kid to fail this season? Like nuts. And I go, no. Sports about failure. The best basketball players on these teams are going to miss 6 out of 10. Best baseball players are going to get out 7 out of 10 times. So if you're not ready for your child to fail, and by the way, what a great you said it early on, I did as well. That's how they learn to grow. That's how they get better. Right? That's the deal.
That's the only way.
It's the only way. And I find myself, it's interesting, especially we got a lot of energy in the elementary school space. That's a lot of that. We teach physical education at like 60 schools. Sports. We're helping bring that back. The mentality. Good. We have a high five program, which is really based on, you know, empathy and leadership and teamwork, the things that we want to get. But the challenge, like you said, is to lean into how do the parents, because you know as well as I do, parents aren't like-minded with the administration and that, it's going to undermine and make that a negative experience for the kids, right?
Yep. Well, even to your example of your son and the football team, like you could have easily have just gone to the car and talked bad about the coach the whole ride home, and then everyone would have been upset with coach. Nothing would have been resolved. But you chose to actually speak to the coach.
Right.
And I think a lot of times that's what's happening is our car rides home aren't awesome. And our car rides home, we're talking about the other kids on the team who didn't do what they were supposed to do and how the coach didn't do what he was supposed to do. You know what I mean? So I think we've got to manage that. And that's where I struggle, is hoping that they can support the team when the team's not around. Like that's what we need from parents.
That's a biggie. I'm glad you said. Coach Wooden, who was my mentor I worked for, said that failure never becomes fatal until you blame somebody else.
Yep.
Well, if you're a parent out there listening to this, when you're riding home, VJ Stanley has the best information. He's a friend of mine, has the best information about the ride home. And create a routine, a ritual that's based on lifting up and support, and give that individual. You don't have to, you did this and that, but talk to these kids. I agree with you. If I start talking bad to my spouse about the coach, I'm undermining my child's belief in them, and the refs did this and they didn't that.
Right.
Blame. They're missing the lesson. Right?
Yep.
Yeah. I think of one of the challenges we have in America is we're focused on the wrong things through sport. And I think, don't get me wrong, I was competitive. I'm playing, I'm trying to let's go. Balance is there. So Coach Wooden, again, my mentor, not to name drop again, but taught me success is the peace of mind of knowing you can do your best. That's success. So how does your district at your level define success and the balance between competitiveness and development of the child?
Yes, so that's different, right? So, and I guess on a side note, before I talk about that, we use the pyramid of success in our coach training that I was talking about, our module, just to really show them, like, you don't even get to talk about competitive greatness until you're through a whole lot of other skills. So, so success for us, like I said, we're a free lunch district. We're a district that struggles with mobility, which means that our kids won't stay at the same school for the whole school year. So for us, success is going to be GPAs. We want our kids to have a high enough grade to be able to participate in sports. We want them to have strong attendance, and we want them to graduate, right? So obviously that's minimum. We would love more, right? We want them to, win and run regionals and sectionals and go downstate and all that stuff. But ultimately, that's what we're here for, right? Like we have other partners outside of the school, like whether they're playing on a park district team or they're playing on a travel team, where they can experience maybe some different kind of success. But here, we're really focused on the things that are going to get them graduated from school.
I love that. And if we can all be super clear on that, because as a parent, we all want them to graduate. Like we'd like them to learn the life skills and good citizenship factors. So I think we forgot sports is a vehicle to experience. I don't think there's any better life skill teaching tool than youth sports.
I don't think so. Right?
But I feel like us adults, and I mean coaches, parents, and we're screwing this thing up.
Yep.
We've lost focus. So I feel like schools have the best chance because you control this, right?
Yeah.
You say you can't play. I don't care how much money you got. Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Since you guys have that, there's got to be a culture that you guys have to create around that. I assume. I mean, I don't know about you, but when my kid was going to high school, we went to orientation. We sat there and listened. Yeah. Right? Expectations are set. You have that.
Right.
So how do you develop that culture? How do you think what works for you and what's working? What's working for you guys?
Well, I would certainly say, so I've actually just gave a talk about this, and I think the good part about school-based sports is we have a mandate, right? So whether it's our state association, whether it's our board policy, that tells our coaches what we have to do. So it really kind of lets principals and ADs off the hook. Like it's not a debate about whether a kid has to pass classes every week. Of course they do. And I always say, you just tell the coaches what to do and they'll do it. So they're going to make sure that kid is passing all their classes because that's what they have to do. So I think we're in a really great space where what people need, which is to come to school and to pass classes every week, it's operationalized. It's out of our hands. Every school has to do it. And it gives our coaches a path, right? So it's not whether or not you're going to pass. Like, you have to pass classes. Right. And you should tell me as your coach if you feel like you're not. And then let's work on it so that you are passing these classes, because we got a big game next week and we need you. You know what I mean? Like that kind of a thing. So I think, to me, the biggest thing, the best thing that districts do is have policy that coaches and administration can lean on. Because now when parents come and complain, you can say, look, it's out of my hands. Like, that kid has to pass these classes. That kid has to come to school. Yeah. Like, yeah. This is the way it works.
Yeah, this is the basis. This is the way it goes. Love it. All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a break, get some water. When we come back, we're going to talk about leadership. We're going to talk about some things that we can help parents. Yeah. Because if you're a parent out there, and okay, these are some things that we've got some experience. We can help you out. So, Joby, run those. We'll see you all in 2 minutes.
Are you a vendor, brand, or service provider ready to connect with the heartbeat of local communities? At DPRS Media Co., we tell the stories shaping parks and recreation across America. Through podcasts, live streams, videos, and newsletters, we reach frontline leaders, city directors, and decision makers every single week. From youth sports and facilities to programming and policy, our audience is your audience. Sponsoring or partnering with DPRS Media Co. puts your brand in front of the professionals who build, budget, and buy for their communities. Launching a new product, growing your presence in public spaces, targeting cities, counties, or departments, DPRS is your trusted media partner. Whether you're in software, turf, aquatics, robotics, smart cities, or special events, partnering with DPRS puts your brand in the story. With commercials, interviews, social campaigns, newsletters, and live shows, we're your media team. Partner with us and grow your impact in the $200 billion parks and rec industry. DPRS Media Co. Stories that move parks and rec forward. Your audience is here. Let's meet them.
Before the game, before the lights, before the pressure, there's a moment most people never see. Welcome to The Athlete's Commute, a podcast distributed by DPRS Media Network, co-produced by Her Sports, and hosted by Jordan Ziff. Each episode, Jordan gets behind the wheel, driving athletes to practice, to training, to game day, while getting to know who they really are beyond the jersey. The mindset, the grind, the sacrifices, the moments no one talks about. No scripts, no filters, just real conversations in real motion. Because every athlete has a journey, and every journey deserves to be heard. This is The Athlete's Commute. Buckle up.
How cool is that?
I love that. Yeah.
Jordan used to work for us. She's awesome. I'm really excited about what she's got going on. They're actually working really heavy and trying to get more female participation in sport and going forward for that. But, okay, diving back in, we're here with Dawn. I'm Aaron, back at the Youth Sports Mastery. Let's talk a little bit about leadership, about the roles and how they fit. I'd like you to help me define, because if I'm a parent, administrator, whether I'm in Parks and Rec or schools or whatever, but let's talk about the administration's role, the parent's role, the coach's role, and the athlete. Let's try to clarify. So where do you want to start first? Which one do you want to go to?
Well, probably administration, since that's what I do, right?
Right. Okay. So when you think of the role in what you're facing in athletics, and again, it's gotten insane to me. It's just it's so upside down. What would you say are the top few things that your role in administration that you can do to make this sports experience I'll use the word positive. I don't know what else to say. You know what I mean? A win.
Yes.
Yeah. What do you think from that level?
So I've never been a place, I've been in athletics all my life, and I've never been a place where everyone agrees that athletics is super important. So I feel like that's part of my job, is to make sure everyone understands why schools play sports. Like, it's not just because we like sports, it's because of the life skills like we were talking about before. Like, we want our kids to be resilient and persistent and to be accountable to
Froze up. Come back to me.
a group and to have a care about them, and
Dawn, you froze up a little bit. You're going to have to see if we can get you back here. Dawn, you may have to go back out and back in. We'll see if we can try to get you unfrozen. So what we're talking about is the ability to get the administration, which I love the idea, is that making sure that people involved in sports understand the value of sports, especially in the school space, right? And getting some clarity around that. So Dawn will come back in a second. I'm sure she'll be able to get back in, or at least I hope we got not a power out or something there in Illinois. So from an administration standpoint, one of the other pieces that I think is really important from my standpoint is transparency, right? If we're an administrator, whether you're in Parks and Rec or school or a league or whatever it is, to be really crystal clear on what the goals, what the missions are, communicate out what the season is, all the particles, so there's no ambiguity with it. It's all just step by step by step. Because if I'm a parent and want my child to play, I want to know, is this a rec league? Is this a competitive league? I want to know all the particles. If I'm going to sign up for a camp or a clinic, I want to know, what are the expectations? What equipment do I need? What are the total costs? That's where the pre-camp emails, all the communication stuff is so important going forward. All right, we got you back. That's good. I hope everybody. So from the administration standpoint, I was just talking a little bit more about the camp side of it, but go back. So you started with, which I thought was great, which was really about what does it take for the administration to make sure that people understand the value of sports and the experience, right?
Exactly. There's always going to be folks who don't understand why the portion of the budget that's going to athletics is going there rather than something that they deem is more academically responsible to do with the money. So it's my job to tie academics and like the goals of every school to participation in sports. So I think that is like an important role for me at the district office and administration, is to make sure everybody understands what we're doing here.
And I dove in a little further talking about a little bit about the whole idea of transparency about and that, so everybody understands what are the costs, what are the responsibilities. So I love that. Okay, let's go. We did administration. Let's go to the coach. What's the coach's responsibility? And by the way, in administration, I'm going to lump in the athletic director, the administration, because that's that, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about the coach. What's the coach's
I would say similar, right? I think they've got to understand the difference between like travel ball and club and all that stuff and school-based sports. So it's really important that they understand that the academic side is super important here. And again, this isn't to say anything against travel and club. Like, I think all of that stuff is awesome, but that is a significant difference with school-based sports. So it's really important for that. And it's important for them to lean into the teaching of the life skills thing, because that's ultimately that's going to make a really great athlete. Like the athlete who wants to be accountable, who wants to be a leader, who wants to come every day on time, do all the things. That's going to be a really good athlete. So if our coaches can teach those things and like operate within like a school-based sports model, they're good.
I love the piece, because it takes a village. It takes a village. I also know, for me, and again, this is a Coach Wooden. By the way, I would love, if there's ever a chance to have one of these talks with them, I would love to be the guy in Zoom to come in off the Pyramid of Success. Oh man, I'd have some. I love talking about Coach Wooden. Okay. So, but how about this? What about, so the coach, if we focus on the effort rather than just the result,
Mm-hmm.
Because the effort, showing up on time, the effort, doing it the right way, right? Because that's the fundamental piece of that. So for me, coach out there, man, that's a biggie for me. I'm huge on that piece. Focus on that, right?
Well, you know, when I coach, that was what I said. I told him, I said, the only thing I'm going to ask you is going to be the hardest thing I'm going to ask you. Is every day I want your best effort and your best energy. And I always tell him, like, your effort is what you give me, right? And your energy is what you give your teammates. And I need it every single day. And that's hard. It really is.
Dawn, I need you to say that again. That hit me right here. So like, if you haven't been listening before, say that again, because the only thing, the hardest thing, give me that piece.
The only thing I'm going to ask you is the hardest thing I'm going to ask you, which is every day to bring your best effort and your best energy. And it's really a hard thing. It's a hard thing to do, because you might have had a fight with your boyfriend or girlfriend, and now you're kind of dragging when you come to practice, or you might be struggling in class. But we still need that effort and energy, because everybody's got something going on. So we've got to come in with our effort and our energy every single day.
Man, that translates to everything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's I just picked up a good one right there. I love that. Okay, so the coach is setting the table every day. And people don't, some people don't realize coaching high school, coaching middle school, whatever, it takes a lot of energy. And it's just like teachers. It's not just what you do, but you got to have the practice plan. You got to make sure all these different factors are put together just to set the table. So it's more than just show up with a clipboard and say, all right, run laps.
It is. And everyone's not equipped for that. And I think that's part of my job too, is to make sure that our experts, which I would call our high school coaches, are connected to our middle school and our elementary coaches, so that if those coaches don't know how to plan a practice, or they don't know how to keep the kids' eyeballs on them during a timeout, like all the little tricks that coaches have, we've got to share that knowledge. I think we can do a better job in our district of doing that.
I wrote 6 books on coaching called Coach's Best Friend. It's about how to coach and go through the season and deal with parents, organization, all that stuff. It's missing. It's not. Now they can show you the best drills, how to do double, a bowling ball and a basketball and whatever and all that.
Right.
But how do you run a practice?
How do you manage the kids?
So if you're a coach, being prepared. Do it is a big one. All right. Let's switch to the P word. I know a lot of people are upset with these phones. and it's funny because as a parent, I tell everybody, all right, point at the issue, and they point at me, and I go, yeah, but you got 3 fingers.
Exactly.
So that's the deal. So I tell parents a lot, and I deal with them. I got a league where I'm with 2,400 kids playing.
Awesome.
It's awesome. And the number one thing every single year is not the kids playing,
not the kids,
not even the referees, not even the coaches. It's the parents.
Right.
So what are we telling parents? I'm a parent. My child plays at your school. What's my responsibility?
So I just sent this out to our school district. I told you I have these newsletters that I send out. And I just sent it out, and it's, we told them your job is to be supportive of your child, to learn the teammates' names, so you can cheer for them too. If your kid's not out there, make friends with the parents, support your kid. If your kid's upset, advocate for them to go talk to the coach themselves. But we told them, of course, your job isn't to yell at the officials. Your job isn't to yell at the AD, but we know that happens, right? We know those things do happen. But I think all we can do as administrators, as coaches, is to put out what we would like. This is what we expect of parents. They may not meet us there, but all we can do is put it out there, have them sign it. So then when they do something wrong, you can say, remember you signed this thing where you said you weren't going to do that? So...
Yeah, no, that's good. One of the things that I've done, which I think is really important, is for the parents is to help them understand the importance of being like-minded and having one voice with the coach. If you support that coach, the teachers, administrators, whatever it is, if you support them, you have a better chance of your child having a better experience, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And I tell everybody, if you're a parent, pay attention. When you're out there and your child's playing right field or center field and they get the ball and the coach is yelling, hit the cutoff.
Right.
You know your child's got a heck of an arm. Throw it home. You can get him. Throw it home. Now all of a sudden your child has to make the decision between
who am I listening to?
Who am I listening to? The parent, the coach supposed to know what's going on. Even if we have to sacrifice that win and sacrifice isn't that more important? We have to get that across, right? Parents, you have to understand at some point, even though your child might be able to do that,
right?
We have to buy into what the coach is going for, right?
Yeah, and I think, and there's got to be a level of trust there too. The parent's not there every day at practice and seeing all the kids together do. So you have to trust, and I think that's part of it. Is maybe there is a little bit of a lack of trust that the coach has a good vision for the team. But yeah, you've just got to trust that they see what's happening every single day when no one else is watching, and they've put the best kids where they think they're going to do the best, and go from there. And there's a plan. And if everybody does their little part, that leads towards, meeting the plan, then they can win. But if everyone starts being their own little individual soldiers and doing their own thing, we're no longer a team.
Do you know the name Dusty Baker?
Of course.
Yeah. I did some work with Dusty, and he would say something. He just said, "Trust the process."
Yep.
You have to trust. You must trust the process.
Yes.
And if you're going to be out here doing this, and you don't trust the process, you can't play on my team. That's
exactly. I think it's just the most important thing. My daughter plays sports, and I even remember when my niece and nephew are grown now, but when they were younger, and my brother, of course, knew I coached, and he says, "Well, you should go talk to the coach." I said, "I will not," because I have no idea what's been talked about every single day in practice and whatever his plan is. So we're just gonna sit back and wait.
in a couple leagues that we manage, that we actually assist to manage the league, and then they run it. And one thing that I've done, besides my book stuff, but I've given them a practice outline.
That's a great idea.
And I tell the parent, the coaches, this is my favorite way to do it. And we have to go to school sports, it can be tough. But if the parents drop their kid off their practice, right? I have the assistant coach go warm the kids up. And me as the head coach, I got my practice plan. And I say, all right, parents, today we're going to be working on this. Come on, gather up this. Got any questions? All right, we'll see you after practice. And we have zero problems in those leagues.
Okay, that's great.
There's transparency. They understand. They can have, I thought this. What about that? Yeah, I understand you want to run the triple wing flex, but we got no way to fall that far, so we're not doing that. Whatever. I feel like that makes this instead of this.
Right. Yeah, you're bringing them into it a little bit.
Yeah. Own soup. We'll just bring them in a little bit and part of the process, part of the good stuff, right?
Right. Yeah, I coached club volleyball one year with my daughter when she was 10 years. She's 13 now, so that was a few years ago. And I thought that club, it was interesting. They created the practice plans for us. I would just walk in and they give me a sheet of paper and I just had to follow it. And I had coached for 20 years and I still thought, this is amazing. I don't have to, I can just walk in and do this thing. And I think it helped them, one, if your coaches are unseasoned and they don't understand what they're doing, at least you've taken that away from them. But two, they could also talk to parents and say, well, these are the things we've been teaching and this is where the teaching is going. So we just haven't gotten there yet. So hold on.
I love that. And just the ability to have, again, I hate to say this, but just a system. Whatever it is, just a system that can be followed. For me, the one thing that we do at the National Academy of Athletics, what I do love, is we have the format, and we put 80,000 kids in summer camp last summer.
That's amazing.
And at 9 o'clock, everybody went out and did the RSBQ warm-up: rhythm, speed, bounce, and quickness. Warm-up, right?
Right.
With that, we go through our top key plates the same. But I always said, if we're teaching passing of volleyball, I'm not going to tell you what drill to do. I'm going to tell you the skill.
Right.
It allows you, Dawn, and Coach Williams, what drill do you love to teach? It gives them a little bit of freedom.
Right. Exactly.
To do that, express stuff with it as well. And some people are more aggressive in style.
Yeah, I think that's great. As much as I think supports that you can give to coaches. And then again, you know what's been taught. So when a parent says, well, they've never even taught serving, you can say, well, no, I know that we taught it on these days. Yeah.
Yeah, being able to reference that. When I refereed college basketball and high school basketball, I always used to announce, hey, coach, here's your coach's box. Use it, don't abuse it. We'll answer reasonable questions reasonably. Have a good game. And I said that I haven't said that in ref in 20 years, but but you know what was interesting? Like you said, I referenced the coach's box during the game, and they got bop. I go, hold on, coach, I can't hear you because you're not in your coach's box.
Right.
Oh yeah, that thing, down a little bit, right? All right, let's dive in. So now I'm a student athlete.
Yes.
What's my role and responsibility?
Well, like we talked about, effort and energy, right? So that's the thing. So for school-based sports, I would say, so that's assuming you've been coming to school like you're supposed to and going to class like you're supposed to and your grades are awesome, all that stuff. Effort and energy. I feel like that covers everything. Like I said, I would talk to my team and I said, this is literally all I'm asking of you.
Yeah.
Is to give me all of your effort, all of your energy. That means you're gonna support your teammates. If you're not in the drill, you're cheering your head off for them. If you're in the drill, you're working as hard as you possibly can while you're in it. I think those are the things that we want from them. That means you're being a good teammate. That means you're not talking about them behind their backs. That means you're not on social media saying stuff you shouldn't be saying. Like, it covers all the stuff.
Love it. I did a training the other day, a leadership training, and I was talking about there's only two things that we can control in our life, and it's our attitude and that's it.
Yep.
Attitude, like you're talking about, and you put effort out there, you can play on my team
any day of the week.
And what's great is that just, to me, it just takes it right through, because my staff, hey, attitude and effort.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
And whatever that is, I love it. All right. So as we navigate through the chaos of the world.
Yes.
I feel like athletics can be a safe space.
I think so.
It can be. And I know we've seen Mandela, we've seen the Pope, we've seen all these people talk about the wisdom and the ability. It can unite a community better than anything, right?
Definitely.
Bring it together, right?
Yep.
If my team is not playing in the Super Bowl. United fan, we had a rough season. I mean, we had a great season.
A lot of injuries. Yeah, you guys had a lot of injuries.
Yeah. Our first draft pick this year is actually a doctor. We're gonna draft.
It was a rough year. I felt for you. That's for sure.
I'm like, what just happened to him?
It got to a point where it's like, well, there's no way that they can win. Like, they don't have enough players.
Hey, we got to win. I did not expect.
You went far, yeah.
I'm okay, Yeah. So now the topic that has come up, and it's very interesting to me, because when I say these words, people get weird to me. Okay. Equity and access.
Yes.
Right? People get weird, and I don't understand, because when I was a kid, again, most of our sports experience was free, playing with our friends down the street.
Yes.
But that's not safe to do that anymore, and we can't do that.
Right.
But everybody had the same access. There was equity within it.
Yes.
Right? That's what it is. In fact, Jenny, I don't remember her last name, 1972, was the first female player to be allowed to play in Little League USA.
Oh, wow.
And I can honestly tell you, she didn't strike me out, but she did put a ball in my rib.
You still remember, huh?
I met her a long time ago. But that equity and access. So the question is, I feel like schools do it better than anybody, because you have the ability to do that, but that's still a thing, right?
Right. It's still a thing.
Talk about that a little bit.
So our district is unique. Well, I won't say unique. Our district has decided that we're not going to charge kids for sports. So that's a thing we take on ourselves. All of the districts around us do have fees. So, however many sports you play, you kind of have to just pay per sport. So we've decided we're not going to do that. Like I said, we're a free lunch district. That would really take a lot of kids out if we added fees to be able to do our activities. So that's a big one. But I still think even beyond is we have to take some ownership of making sure our students know what's available to them, how to sign up for, just all the things, just the level of what people have at home is so different. So we have to try and take that away. Like we don't want, because you don't have a laptop or a computer at home, to keep you from signing up for sports. You know what I mean? So we have to be able to give people opportunities, whether it's on their phone. So that's what we've done recently is our registration process now is through an app. So everybody has a phone. You may not have a laptop, you may not have a computer, but you definitely have a phone. So like that kind of stuff, I think that we can do better because we're not any different than a lot of youth sports. I think that our girls are lagging behind boys in participation. Right. So I think we got to figure out a way to make sure that girls feel like this is a space for them to be in. So I would say we haven't gotten that yet because we're definitely more boy heavy than we are girl heavy. Even if you account for football and they just have more people, we still have less girls playing.
Yeah. Alicia Pelton with coaching her, I should connect you because they're finding ways of recruiting more female. Because we know if a girl athlete, especially younger, plays for a female, looks like them, right? That have that connection, understand on those levels, they're significantly more likely to stick with it.
Right.
Big piece of
it's definitely something, but it's something we think about certainly at the administrative level.
First of all, and I don't know who got it done, but good for you. Celebrate the heck out of that free sports because that's big. I know it's tough for me when I see parents that have to make the decision between paying for their kids' sports, buying them clothes. That's a tough choice. You know what I mean?
That's a tough choice. And it's also one that we know they're going to have to make. Like if their kid's good, like even if we're not charging them, someone's going to be charging them eventually. So at least we can offset that.
We have a phenomenal program here in Northern California. The Marcus Johnson Memorial Foundation. This a kid passed away, and Marcus was a really good young man. And his father and mother have carried a tradition that they started, and they raised funds, and kids are playing sports anywhere in the county, and they need shoes. They go out and get them brand new shoes.
Oh, that's awesome.
To the kid.
That's awesome.
If you're an athlete out there and you're trying to, you're barely making it and this and that, and someone gives you right. We lost 2 houses in the fires in 2017. And we lost everything. They came to my house for my daughter. I get a little emotional about it.
Yeah.
7th grade, and they delivered a brand new pair of Nikes to her.
That's awesome.
Right? It was like walking on water.
Right. Well, that's one of the things our ADs are able to do. So say a kid comes to them in that very situation, you're a track athlete and my mom can't afford spikes or shot put shoes. Our ADs can buy those for our kids using our school funds, and that's great.
And I'm going to give you this right here. That's
we're
running up against it, but I want one more topic, which is a biggie. This thing, mental health.
Yeah, it is.
Mental health, burnout, athletes. You have strategies that you kind of have put in to kind of balance it out because the pressure that these kids are under and that health component, especially since that pandemic, it's a thing, right? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, well, our numbers as a district are back up. So that's exciting. For a long time, we were lagging way behind, just in general, populations of school. But now we're back up to where we are. Our participation numbers are going up, which is awesome. Our schools I think they do a good job. I would say in a district like ours, so we're inner city school, like I said, free lunch school. So kids come in with trauma, like they're walking in 8 o'clock in the morning and who knows what's been going on, right? So I think our support services are great, right? So kids can always have support services. regardless, that aren't even connected to sports. But what I would also say is one of our goals as a district is just like social emotional health, making sure that child is connected to community, which obviously in my mind, I believe sports are community. You've got peers who care about you now because you're on the team. You've got another significant adult in your life who is going to make sure you're coming to school and going to class and being respectful and all the things that we want out of our kids. So I think on the social emotional side of things, I think even if that's all a kid gets is I have my people. And this is a reason why I can come to school, because I got my people and they're my friends and we sit together at lunch and it's fun. Like if that's all they get, that's awesome. Obviously, we hope they do more and they're successful and blah, blah, blah. But that's a huge part of it. Like I actually just got together with some girlfriends from college and we were all athletes. And it's one of those things where that's where my friends were. Like that wasn't just my sport. Like those were my people. So like if we can get them people, I think that's helpful.
The thing about the sense of belonging, community, and it makes you want to show up and continue. And when it gets tough, you've got your peers and it's a experience. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So last question for you.
All right.
How do people get in touch with you if they want to find out more? What's the best way for them to, I know LinkedIn, but how else would people get in touch with you if they want to find out more, if they got questions, or I know you said you were going to help out. So
of course. Yeah. Well, I would say just Google Dawn Williamson, Rockford Public Schools, and it'll pop up, right? So all of my cell phones, it's all public, cell phone, email, all that good stuff. So just Google me, all that stuff pops up because we're public school. So, and I obviously am passionate about sports, and if you're trying to grow elementary or middle, that's really where we've been putting a lot of our energy lately, is growing that from the bottom up. So if you're interested in something like that, I would love to talk to you, or if you've done it, and I want to hear what you've been doing.
Love it. Well, thanks for your time today. I do want you to know I'm serious. If there's a way to jump on a Zoom, or at some point I'm going to fly out and break bread and have a chance to chat and share experiences and share some Coach Woodenisms, because it's all
I love Coach Wooden. I would teach that. I coached for 20 years. Every year our team did the Pyramid of Success.
You run our entire company on the Pyramid of Success. So
that's awesome.
Success, industrious enthusiasm.
Yep.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Hey, we appreciate you hanging out with us for the hour, learning about youth sports. Dawn, appreciate it so much. Hey, we got some really good shows coming up. I want to remind everybody, thank you for your comments and your feedback and your shares. All the information is coming in. It means a lot to us, basically, so we know what we're talking about. It's not just us having a chat. So we appreciate it. We will see you next time. Hopefully you get a chance to talk, teach, and play today, and we'll see you down the road. Thanks, everybody. Roll it.
They say it's just rec. Just rec, where kids learn to try again. Just rec, where confidence begins. Where teamwork, effort, and fun matter more than trophies. It's not about perfection. It's about participation. It's not just rec. It's where kids learn to love the game and themselves. It's just rec until they learn teamwork for life. It's just rec, but it's everything to them. It's more than rec. It's a movement. It's just rec until you realize it's shaping the next generation. Together, we're not just running programs. We're building a culture of confidence, connection, and community. Join us.
On the Daily Parks and Rec Show, we bring you the real stories of tomorrow's professionals. People shaping the future, one idea at a time. Meet the very first DPRS interns to officially host their own segment, Aidan Tierney and Michael Morrow. With curiosity, passion, and a fresh perspective, they're stepping into the spotlight to lead meaningful conversations with today's rising leaders. The Young Professionals Network takes you inside the journeys, challenges, and major wins of young individuals making their mark across industries. From first jobs to bold ventures, every story fuels growth, ambition, and innovation. Each episode brings real conversations, fresh perspectives, and impactful insights created to motivate the next generation of professionals. Whether you're just starting out, exploring new paths, or figuring out your next move, tune in to the Young Professionals Network every Thursday at 5 p.m. only on the Daily Parks and Rec Show. Don't miss it, because your next big idea might be one story away.